So, my name is Ganapathy. I am the head of the Occupational Therapy department. I have a master degree in advanced occupational therapy in pediatrics. I am also an advanced neuro rehab specialist working with PRS Neurosciences. In the last few videos, we have seen how a child development happens in different age group, starting from 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years, 3 years, and 6 years. So basically, this is a video. These are the videos to create awareness to the parents and relatives of any children who born normally or had some complication during pregnancy, or even in the intrauterine like chromosomal anomalies. That such things are pre-existing before even before the delivery it can happen. So we want to create an awareness so that they are able to take a decision to approach the experts. So now we we also spoke about high risk infants, like we call high risk infants, like such children who got discharged from the neonatal ICU are most of the time like low birth weight, or there are something called extremely low birth weight, very low birth weight, like they are categorized like that. And they have hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy, which is like low oxygen supply during the delivery because of lack of cry, delayed cry, weak cry, those things. And the preterm also, like the low birth weight associated with the preterm, no, which is very commonly people say that he born before that no time of delivery. So this is called preterm babies. And also children with the meningeal infection, meningitis, or meconium aspiration. They swallow the meconium inside the stomach, aspirate it, and cause problems, and different other chromosomal anomalies which can be considered as high risk infants for developmental disabilities. So that's why we want you to be aware of the regular developmental milestones, what they supposed to reach at the age of their normal chronological age. So when you say high risk infants, such infants actually they require intervention as early as possible. I have also quoted in one of my videos, and I was telling that I used to handle children in neonatal ICU as small as 600 grams. That means we can do something at that stage also. There are lots of things which we don't know as a layperson, but if you meet an expert, they should be able to tell you clearly that what is the right decision to be taken and what is the right action to be done. Now, coming to the early intervention, earlier is better. So typically the early intervention is, it should be at least before 2 years, because we expect the rapid growth of the brain development happens between these time. Now it is extended to 6 years, but always better to come before before 2 years. Suppose if you miss the time, it doesn't matter, but any time is earlier than waiting for things to settle by itself. So please go through all the videos which we have done systematically, age wise, and make sure you understand it properly and take appropriate help. Coming to the aspects of what we do, like you may ask, like what actually you do. We do a detailed assessment. We understand the child from the clinical perspective, that is, what are the clinical symptoms they are showing. There are certain symptoms which a parent or a lay person cannot pick up. Those symptoms we will be able to pick up and understand what could be the possible reason for these things. And also we understand different clinical features which the child is showing. The we call symptoms, or signs and symptoms, which we can pick up earlier. And we look at the possible areas of the brain involvement, and so that we can predict what are the other related developmental problems can happen. And we go through the radiological investigations. For example, if MRI is done, a CT scan is done, or any other neurological investigations are done, we go through that, we understand that child's clinical aspect better, and then we get into our developmental assessments. There are different standardized developmental assessments are there. Those assessments are meticulously applied on the child and understand what is the current status of a child. So we want to see what is the functionality of the child, what is the dysfunction of the child, what is the child's capability, what is the child's incapability. So we distinguish this thing, and we try to push the child, in the sense we try to bring the child to the mainstream, so that your child can get into school, get into play, get into socialization, get into community as early as possible. We don't want to miss out their cognitive development because of motor deficit, or we don't want to miss their play and movements because of the cognitive deficit. So it has to go hand in hand. So our assessments are basically based on the motor, which is sensory motor control. That is, we were talking about the gross motor milestones and the fine motor milestone, basically about the fingers and things. So you can go through those videos and understand that. And we also spoke about the communication, that is like speech. Most of the time children, they parents come with, my child is not talking, like my child is not calling mama, papa, like what age they have to call. All such informations are very, very crucial for us to understand, and then we will get into the intervention, appropriate intervention for that children. So one thing which I always it comes to my mind when I think about children, is like they have to be happy. That is very, very important now, because of sake of therapy or sake of the treatment, they should not feel unpleasant, because the highest learning happens when they are very, very happy, they are involved. So we always promote play based, engage the child in the activities and therapeutic activities and exercises. Basically exercise is a very crude term to use, but for the sake of understanding I'm telling it. But the activities, the different activities, and we also look at like how we can treat the child without pain. This is also one of our trying to explore, that how we can treat the child without much pain, so they will be more comfortable, more happy, more involved, so that you can see a drastic improvement in a very short period of time. That if an improvement can happen in 8 weeks, we want to achieve that in 4 weeks. That is the 4 weeks if an improvement can happen in 8 weeks, we want to achieve it in 4 weeks. And if X improvement is possible, we want to achieve the Y. So this is our objective of PRS Neurosciences. Coming to the interventions, like what kind of interventions we usually do, where it depends on the age of the child and the problems of the children, of course. There are different kind of therapeutic techniques, approaches. For example, neurodevelopmental therapy, or a sensory integration therapy. That means they have to understand the world, the interaction between the child and the environment and the task. All these things we understand properly and give them the right treatment to get them to the next level. That is about the sensory integration, play based interventions. And different other modalities are used based on the problems, like electrotherapy, perceptual, cognitive training. And we also work on vision, like that is a primary, like for a human being, they're heavily vision dependent. So we use vision based activities and vision rehabilitation, or for children it is habilitation. Vision based stimulations which help them to understand the world through their visual senses. Another intervention is most of the children have is the swallowing difficulty, eating and swallowing difficulty. So we have swallowing based therapies and oral exercises and swallowing facilitation techniques can be done, and speech stimulation, speech and language. Now these two things are different, like talking and the language, the software which is present in the brain. So the other aspect of intervention is the swallowing and language problems, language or speech problems. These problems can be addressed through speech therapy or swallowing therapy. Now, if you ask me, like, one message, if I have to tell you through this entire series, is your one visit to an expert may change the path of your child's journey. You can see a drastic change in their growth and development. So I recommend you to go through all our milestone related videos which we have already now posted in YouTube, and we are coming up with exciting topics. So please stay tuned with us to understand more about your children. Thank you.